a huge, enormous Midnight Madness welcome to the king of maximalism, Joseph Kahn!
I just finished the last drop off of the Ick movie on TIFF. It was about a group of 8 wonderful, talented actors and fun bunch, fun crew. And TIFF is finally over for me. And I think I might have one more actor to drop off at Pearson Airport, and we'll see what happens with that. I just gotta do a couple more miscellaneous things with one of the producers telling me get a couple bags. So those are the kind of things if you want to do a PA, driver, assistant, you pretty much got to do whatever the directors, excuse me, producers need to get done to run the actors to each location and that stuff. Fun, a little bit challenging, but it's worthwhile. Okay, guys, so keep it posted in the next video.
What is Ick, right? Because you've seen one image, a poster, and that's it. That means you guys are the most adventurous people in the world, and you're great at bed. So, look, I'll tell you, if you're gonna watch the movie, I'll let the movie speak for itself. It's a. Not only has nobody seen this film, Peter has seen a 25% version of this. He's a crazy man. Like, that's insane. Like,
it was the whole duration of the movie. It's not like you showed me the first 25 minutes.
With no monster. Okay, so let's watch a movie.
Nina Subari! Wait, come on, guys. Your audience waits. Just gonna call everyone's name. Deborah Wilson as well. Emerson Cohen. Taya Sophia, Zeke Jones, and the great Jeff Bailey. And producer Steven Schneider, if you're back there, come on the stage.
Yeah, boy.
Listen, you missing anyone? Brandon, where's Brandon? Yeah. Well, we'll start things off. Here we go. So let's give him an applause. While you guys take some minutes to collect some questions, we're going to start things off. Joseph, you told me that this is a script that originated before the pandemic, or there was an idea well before the pandemic, because it was you described to me that you wanted to explore the idea of what it's like to live in a society that's in perpetual crisis.
Yeah, like today. Look, I love horror movies, but I think that the modern world treats monsters different than the 50s or the 30s. Because let's think about what monsters meant back then. Like a town gets taken over by a giant lizard. It's Godzilla, atomic bomb metaphor, right? Like a big creature comes in a modern society, grabs a woman, climbs up a roof, and you can't do anything about it. King Kong, right? Or you have an incredible society that's built up, and you can lock your doors, you can do everything like that, but if you have an interesting looking dude that is sexy, he can come in there and ruin your entire town. Dracula, But the question of all those things is, what if the monster comes into your town? That's a question that all those monster movies ask. But I believe that we live in a world where we've seen the monster. We've seen 9/11, we've seen COVID, we've seen political situations and things like that we can't control. And you know what happens? We live with it. It's like we kind of ignore it at a certain point. Ow! After 2 or 3, weeks or years or whatever, next thing you know, you're just sort of pretending it doesn't exist. Now, that may be human nature, that might be survival instinct, who knows? But I think that's the question I wanted to ask in this movie. What if the monster comes is not the question. What do you do after it's here?
And with regards to the ick itself, how did you arrive on both the organism, but also its design and its aesthetic?
I mean, the design of it, I actually thought of the ick 20 years ago. I thought of it as a Nine Inch Nails video. I wanted Trent Reznor sitting in a chair. I wanted him to sing some song, I forgot which one it is. And then I wanted his skin to start growing around the room. I didn't get that video. But then, sometimes I think some things are good as videos, but why waste it? So I waited, and 20 years later, here we are with Ick.
This movie is so aggressively paced, and every shot is in an outrageous setup. I just want to hear from the cast. What is it like to work on a Joseph Kahn film set? Because it feels like it's never just shot, reverse shot. The camera is in a different place, a different setup at all times. There's always incredible choreography that is occurring between camera and actor. I'd love to learn from the cast what their experience was like on this film.
I've never worked with a director like Joseph. It was the coolest, most fun experience I've ever had. He knows exactly what he wants, and he's so visually awesome, and we got to see some of it while we were shooting, kind of be sort of rough cut, edited together, and that's just such an awesome experience. It was so much fun.
Also, it looked amazing. Just when we would run over, we'd always run back to see the fresh footage, and it looked so great already. And yeah, I mean, Joseph is just so thoughtful through the whole process with every single shot and angle. So it's just very easy to go in there and take risks, but also dial it down.
You guys. Listen. Hey. Glad it was easy. It can be hard though too, because it's a breakneck speed, as you can tell by the movie. And Joseph mostly has everything planned, but he comes up with a couple, awesome ideas on the spot, which we have to do sometimes. But you have to be. It's a different kind of organism to be involved in a way, because you're sometimes you're not performing a whole scene or a whole line in one setup. Say a line this way and the reaction's this way, or I do half of the line this way and then I turn and do this way. And that was very challenging at first, because I've done stop and start kind of shooting before, but this was on a different level, and I had to kind of train that muscle and trust Joseph that we were going to keep going until we got the take that was the right one. And, you know, after a few days, we kind of both, I felt like we knew we were pretty close on which one was the right one and we could stop. But it was a very cool experience. I would absolutely look forward to doing it again, but unique and unlike, you know, any other experience.
You have a really memorable scene with Melina in the car. We were upside down, by the way. How long were you upside down?
Yeah, too much.
But
10 seconds is too much.
That scene I almost feels like a microcosm for the movie because it's ping-ponging between the emotions that the characters are conveying in that moment, but it's also a VFX set piece. And so, what was it like shooting that sequence where all these elements are happening and Joseph just keeping it all together?
Yeah. Well, you know, Melina and I had to try to keep trying to understand exactly what was going to actually be on screen and keep the pace, but also like, you know, there's the tension, but also we're having this big conversation. So, you know, it was a little bit challenging at first, but then it was fun because we were just, you know, having the comedic conversation-ish at Heartfelt, also with, you know, the ick growing outside and impending doom, you know, not far away. So it was a cool, fun scene to shoot when I was turned the right side up.
Deborah, I love your sequence of the film. I think it's one of my favorite gags and a great parody, I think, of moments in these types of disaster films where the small town character has made the big discovery that, you know, you would think would probably be a day one discovery. Could you describe your experience shooting that sequence, and which again is so there's so much going on. You're yelling at this crowd of actors and these characters. Love to hear about what your experience was that day.
The interesting thing is it's always important to have that voice of reason and to have that voice of reason not listened to, because if you pay attention to the film, and what makes Joseph Kahn's direction so brilliant is after a while you realize that the ick is the backdrop and the ignorance of people really comes to the forefront of how do we get over this so that we can have what we want in life, which is a big social and political statement. And so it's wise to be able to look at all of it on so many levels. You've got the comedy, you've got the great editing, you've got the great music, and you've got this social and political sphere that works all together, and then you have the voice of reason that is going to be ignored, like it so happens in so many different societies and so many different political factions, that makes this brilliant. It is larger than what most people know it to be because of that type of direction. And what made my role interesting for me is that it's quick, it's the voice of reason, and it leaves. It doesn't try to be the hero, it is not necessary. It is this one moment in time in which it just comes in to have that social moment and then is out, so that the mayhem and the story and the connection can continue to happen. And I think that's just very brilliant, to have a little bit coming in and then I'm out. And I think it's just a smart role and a fun role, and it was an impactful moment for me to be able to go, yeah, I have to do this, I want to do this, I need to do this.
I mean, it feels like, yes, that's wonderful.